All right. Here we are. It is From the Margins with Jimmy Afant and David Washington. And this is a different episode where I am actually traveling between Charleston and Hilton Head in South Carolina, and Jimmy's stationary in his office. Good to see you, Jimmy.
Good to see you and enjoy your vacation.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, it's
You look much more
once
relaxed.
I feel relaxed. It's we've been here almost a week, and it's been a very relaxing opportunity. I look forward to getting away at the end of the year like this, and this is a long time coming. So yes, it's been very, very comfortable, very peaceful, and of course, I'm with Daisy, my fiance, and we're enjoying ourselves.
Good. So, any new news from you?
Well, you know something, Jimmy, it's that time of the year where the the two parties locally have their reorganizational meetings, and I've been
Correct.
getting a ton of emails from people who are running for state committee person. And I know that the new rule has changed where there's like a host of committee people instead of just one committee man and one committee woman. I think there's upwards of, at least for Orange County, 20, 25, 30. I lost count. So I've been receiving a lot of emails from people who have been advocating for themselves to run for office and it for at least committee man. I haven't received any emails or any type of knowledge in regards to who's running for chair, who's running for vice chair, and the rest of the executive board.
That is what I've heard. Sammy is running because he's told me this, but
Of
not
course,
because. Okay. I know that basically the secretary is running again. What I'm
Debbie.
not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure who's going to run for vice chair. That has not been made clear to me, and the rest of the board. Well, I have not heard who's going for treasurer or anything like that. So it's all about every. The thing is, everybody wants to be a committee man, committee woman. They want to travel the state around and go and vote and get reelected Nikki as their chair for the state party. This is going to be an interesting thing because in the past, when I was a committee man, committee woman, the persons who were running for chair would come down here, meet with me and with Nancy. They did not have to meet with 25 people, discuss what they wanted and didn't want, and we worked out what you would call a political deal. Well, yes, we did. And back then in the corridor, we would meet over the phone because Zoom did not exist at the beginning, and we would have a somebody set up a 8 or 10 or 20 people there, and we would work out certain things that we wanted, and in exchange, we'd agree to vote in a certain way. And by the time that you walked in to the elections on the election day, I would say uh, nothing was surprising. It had been worked out. Now there was one instance, really two instances, and I will say this: there was one instance in where we worked in a hotel room of John Edelman from Tallahassee. We worked it out at 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was an interesting fight. But at the end, we got what everybody wanted, or at least everybody walked out of the room happy. I should say that we got everything we wanted. We walked out happy, and the next morning we had breakfast. And by the time the election came around, uh, we had made our point. But in the past, it was kind of easy to get elected as a chair or vice chair or secretary because really you had to discuss this with a total of 142 people, of which I would say
Okay.
not true, because you would have small counties that the committeeman and committee woman, each one had one vote. So basically, part of for the honesty, you can know that what you had to do is meet with the seven large counties: Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, Orange, Duval, Hillsborough, and Pinellas. You met with those eight, and you had enough votes to get whatever you wanted. And that's what a lot of people complain about, and that's why they decide to go with each county having. But it's kind of stupid because right now Orange County has 25, Seminole has 5, Osceola has 7. So still the larger counties with the larger turnout as Democratic counties get the most. So what they're thinking is that for 25 Democrats in Orange County to agree to do anything will be virtually impossible. So it's up for grab.
Right. Wow. And try to keep up with all this, for the three counties. And this is a rough week for me because I'm out of state. And so, and I pretty much shut down almost all my communications. However, it seems like, it's going to be business as usual. And we did intimate that in our last conversation that most likely we'll see, the same type of leaderships, the same type of advocacy, the same type of agenda, pretty much across the board for all three counties and their
I was
democratic organizations.
I would say that's probably correct of all 67 counties. Look, it's a game. You get people to register as committeeman or committeewoman for their precinct. They are your friends. They come and they vote for you. 3 months later, they disappear. They never come back, and everybody's happy. So it is what it is. Uh,
Right.
I plus, to be quite honest, I'm happy to see that a lot of people want to run for committeemen and committeewomen. I just want to see how committed they are for the next 4 years in that job, because it's a job that uh, mid-year they do meet in Fort Lauderdale, and a very expensive
Right.
hotel. And I'm not sure if all of them can afford a $200 a night hotel. And the thing is, people getting together to do this. It's going to be right now 400 some people voting, and it's going to be interesting because in the past, Nikki took revenge on those counties that voted against her, which were three.
Sure.
Uh, Now, is she going to take revenge against counties where the committee man, I mean, the chair has no power over the 25 or 26 different state committee man, committee women who might not like her or who might think, whatever. So it's going to be interesting how this is going to work out. I would like to see how you're going to get 400 some people voting, and if you're going to have more than one ballot because of that. But they thought this
It,
was the
it,
way
it
to.
just screams, right. It just screams chaos with so
It does.
many bodies and so many different viewpoints. I'm sure they know what they're doing, but it's very daunting. You've got 20, 30 state committee people from one county, and it the sheer number, and what responsibilities will they have, and how will they divvy up those responsibilities?
That's a good point.
Um, that's a challenge, and this is a challenge coming after a very disappointing election for Democrats here in Florida, as the data continues to come in, and I've been looking at that data, Jimmy, and there's one piece of data that I'm looking at is seeing how significant the vote shift to Trump across Florida in the 67 different counties. And those counties, about 60 out of the 67, shows significant shift towards Trump. And of course, he secured those 60 counties. But regardless of, whether it's Orange or Seminole or Osceola County, which saw a significant shift towards Trump and Republicans, um, Trumpism, MAGA, conservatism, whatever they want to call it, did extremely well in Florida in this last election.
It should have. And as a matter of fact, I look at it a different way. Look, the Democrats didn't invest any money in Florida. Let's stop pretending like, oh, well, how could this happen? Well, did we invest any serious money in Florida? No. Did
No,
the Harris campaign concede Florida from the beginning? Yes. Did they work even the look? The biggest problem that the Democratic Party has has morons running campaigns, and I'm going to call them out. They try to say,
Okay.
well, we're surprised what happened in Florida. I'm not. How much did you invest in Florida to get out the vote? Oh, we
Right.
didn't invest anything, but we expected the African Americans and the Hispanic to vote for us because we take them for granted. Oh well.
Yes.
You're starting to get the backlog. Look, there's something that people. There's a saying that those who do not know history will pay their price by repeating it.
Are doomed to repeat it. Yes.
Yes. Okay. We lost Florida in 2000 to Bush. Okay.
Yes.
We lost Florida to Bush. And let's get this clear. Trump got a large percent of Hispanics. He did.
Yes.
But not as large as Bush got in 2000 and in 2004. Why? Well, let's start with three things. One, his brother was the governor of Florida, and he worked the state for him. Okay, that's one.
Right.
Two, Jeb Bush's wife's name is Columba. She's from Mexican descent, and she went to every Hispanic thing she could do, just like she did to get her husband elected governor. She did it for her brother-in-law. And
That's right.
Jeff and George Bush, coming from Texas, growing up in Texas, speaks Spanish. He came here and he talked to the people in Spanish. He went to the Spanish things. He had Spanish delegates. He got the Hispanic churches, pastors to back him because he was a pro-life person. He got almost 44% of the Hispanic vote. Everybody panicked. Then Obama went back and got that vote because it was worked. Okay? Florida, the Obama people worked it. I'm going to say there's a difference. David Axelrod, and I can't remember her name. She's from your state, your home state, Chicago. I consider them great political strategists. I do. They run a great campaign. They run a great campaign here in Florida. They got everything done the way it needed to be done. They went out and did outreach to the Hillary people, pulled them back in and say, look, we beat her, but we want you with us. Worked the female vote that was kind of deceptive that she lost to him. And basically, they won Florida not once, but twice. Only to come back to Hillary and her stupidity of her people. Oh, we don't need to work the Hispanic vote. We don't need to work the African American vote. Now, one area that nobody's talking about because it might sound bad or a little bit indifferent, but the factor that Biden did better with African American vote than Kamala Harris is mind-boggling. And it's not only in Florida, it was nationwide. I'm not saying that African Americans did not come out and vote, but not in the high percentage that they voted for Biden. And the amount of African Americans who voted for Trump are even more interesting to me because they had a African American woman and said, no, I'm going to vote for the white racist guy. That blew my mind. I thought that those numbers would not be that high. Oh well, some people tell me Jimmy is still less than 40%. Yeah, but that. But the other thing that I'm looking at is two areas that I think nobody's looking at: the drop off in total votes. Period. Less people voted in
Okay.
this election than in 2020, and less than in
Yes.
2016, and less in 2012, and so on and so on. There has been an increase, and not as, and a significant increase in people who are saying, "Screw this, I'm not voting. I'm staying home." And that,
There have been. Go ahead, Jim.
no, that is concerning.
There. I agree with you. When I learned late last week into the weekend the drop off that you mentioned from 2020 and the 85 million votes that Biden received, and compared to now, it's like, okay, what was it that was different? And of course, we were on the heels of the pandemic. However, we had a historic moment, as the Democrats would say, in trying to elect Kamala Harris. And for whatever reason, and although it appears that she was able to tap into the are able to tap into enough voters to have the what is it? Yes, tap into the or win the popular vote the last time I checked. But it still wasn't enough. It's just she underperformed a great
And
deal.
in every category, and this is the part that uh, I like to consider myself a political strategist. I consider you a political strategist. But I think this campaign was run wrong, poorly, and incorrect. Look, she lost all seven swing states. Not two, not three, all seven. And I hate to say, those of you who try to tell me it was close, I don't care. We won, Biden won very closely in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan. It was a close election, and he won, and we were happy that he was president. Well, guess what? The fact that Trump won a closely elections in all seven states
Yeah,
is more than what we did the last time. We did not win all seven swing states. He did. And things are going to
he
get
swept.
worse. And things are going to get worse because he has now the House, he has the Senate, and he has a
That's correct.
party who doesn't dare challenge him. They don't dare challenge him at all.
Y-
But I have a question for you. Are
Yes,
you
sir.
ready to have an Hispanic governor next month?
Lieutenant Nunez becoming the governor
Of
and
the great
becoming
state
Governor Nunez.
of Florida.
She will be the first Latina, the first female governor,
Yep.
and and at one point, Jimmy, after she served in the House of Representatives, uh, she was going to walk away,
Yep.
and now she's on the verge of becoming the governor. And if Ron DeSantis is tapped to become the Secretary of Defense, or if he signs himself up to replace Marco Rubio, I'm ready.
Well, one way or the other, he's gone. I don't see.
It appears.
DeSantis finishing his term. He's not going to stay as governor of Florida. That has never been his desire. As a matter of fact, he would have loved to win last month's election and become the president of the United States and leave her with the mess for the next 2 years. The thing is that is going to be interesting. That's going to throw a monkey in the wrench for the Democrats, because all those people who are thinking now they're going to run against an incumbent with 2 years, an Hispanic female, and that is going to be virtually impossible because the Florida Democratic Party does not have the organization that it needs to win that election. It doesn't.
And
it's not about the candidate.
And another thing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
another thing,
it's like this party sucks. Oh,
yes,
can I say that?
yes, you said it, and to add, insult to injury here, not only organization, they also do not have a bench, and I believe Evan Powers, the chairman of the Florida GOP, stated very clearly, when you're down almost 1 million voters, you don't have successful, charismatic, um, and tested candidates who could run statewide, you're going to be at an incredible deficit. And that's what Democrats are. And if this is the case, and it appears whichever avenue that DeSantis takes, and I predict that he would take the take over Rubio's seat. Um, he he's for all purposes, he's not going to finish out his term like you said. And Nunez as the uh, governor, like you said, a 2 year head start. She has a great following in South Florida. She's a great campaigner, and she's well liked within the party and has a very successful network of her own.
Look, and to be quite honest, Trump will endorse her. He will endorse her. I have no doubt in my mind that he will endorse her. I have no doubt in my mind that the people will come out to vote for her. And I have no doubt that even though next month we're going to have an election and elect a new chair, unless you get a new chair who says, okay, I'm going to take every consultant that is in Tallahassee and I'm going to fire them. I'm going to fire the executive director and all the staff that is there right now. I do not see or foresee in any shape, in any matter, any candidate, unless that candidate can decide to say, okay, I'm going to run. I'm going to run on my own money. I'm going to run with my own people. I'm going to do what Rick Scott did the first time around. He went against the party, ran his own campaign, hired his own people, and said, we're going forward. Yes, but there's only one person that could do that, and that would be John Morgan. And I keep hearing that he's not going to run as an independent because he wants to take over the Florida Democratic Party and make it more to his liking. He thinks the Florida Democratic Party is weak. As a matter of fact, he blames them for the defeat of the marijuana and abortion issue. He feels that they did not put the money where their mouth was, and that basically it is a weak party. So he might run as a Democrat, and he does have the money to do so. Yes. But I'm not sure if he could defeat Nunez. And if Nunez gets elected, let me read to you the Constitution of the state.
Okay.
She could be the governor for 10 years.
That's
she was
correct.
not elected governor this time around. She was selected as vice governor. She could run for 2 terms as governor. So she could run in 2030, and she could run in 2034. And I'll probably be dead by then, and I don't give a what happens. But yeah, it's going to be
Jimmy, no, no.
it's going to be interesting. What happens next month? I do not want my party to go the same route. I don't want my party to continue to prove Einstein correct, that the definition of insanity is repeating the same acts and expecting a different result, just like we did running Charlie Crist twice for governor. Um, it was stupid, and it still what, and I have to say it, it was dumb, but they did it twice. We ran Andrew Gilliam, and he was the last one who came quite close to winning because Charlie Crist didn't at all.
Right.
Okay, this is just something that we keep saying, and look, I'm going to be honest with you. If somebody was to approach you and say, "Hey, I have no money, but I think I could raise at least $12 to $13 million, and I want to run as a Democrat against Miss Nunez, and I'm a white male," yeah, that was my exact reaction. You're not
Oh
going
boy.
to make it. The only
It,
way I see her is if we run a female. But when was the last time the Democratic Party in Florida ran a female for governor?
that was Nikki Fried, and she did not win the nomination.
Oh, no, no, no. We did run
Oh,
somebody else.
oh, Gwen Graham,
No, she
but
didn't. No, no, no. We ran a lady who was before Nikki Fried. She was the fiscal financial person. She was from,
oh,
can't remember her name. And I worked in her campaign. But
hey, yes, you're right. You're right.
we did run her. And to be quite honest, some of the powers within did not back her at all.
Hmm.
And I say that. They did not back her. I was able to show to her that that and the problem is that I think this country, maybe this state is not ready to have a female governor unless it's Nunez, and because not because it's a woman, it's because Donald Trump says this is the person, and they all fall in line. The phenomenon that Trump has to me is mind-boggling. He could just say,
And there's nothing like it. Not since maybe Barack Obama. And it's not even the charisma that Trump has. It's just he's just a political force, and the
"Yeah,
ability to sway these elections, to sway political favor is just amazing, like a boss.
it is," but to a certain degree, we have to understand where this comes from. This comes from the phenomena that for years both parties have failed to recognize what the people want. They want to give them, talk intelligently, talk down to them, treat them like morons, promise them the moon and deliver nothing to them, say to them that this is the reason things are going on when everybody else knows it's not. People look when people say when 62% of people who voted for Trump say they voted because they wanted a drastic change. That's something that's been coming down the pike for years. But have the parties recognized that? No. Look, you and I are strategists. If somebody would say to me, "Look, I'm going to run for president and I'm going to go on the stand in front of all the cameras nationwide, and I am going to," and I'm going to say this, talk for 25 minutes about another man's penis, you would say, "Yeah, you could do that, but there's no way you can win." Well, guess what? Yeah, you can. People do not want to be talked down to. People do not want to be scolded. People do not want to be lied to, even though Trump does lie, and people tell me that I know, but they don't trust government. For years, we've been hearing we need to get rid of the swamp. People have been saying that. Lock them up. You don't trust a politician. This and that. Basically, what happened the first time that Trump lost is because Trump people saw him as a politician who didn't deliver, so let's get rid of him. And the reason they got rid of Biden is because Biden did not deliver, so they got rid of him. That and the fact that basically the people in the Biden campaign, the strategists, the people who ran the campaign, are morons. I'm sorry. They needed to distance themselves, come out from Biden as much as possible. They needed to talk about not only abortion and that they were weird, they needed to talk about the things that people are important, their pocketbook. Look, James Carville has said it, and I say it all the time. It's all about the economy, stupid. It is not
Yeah.
about these other issues, the woke issues or the issues that abortion. Abortion is important for a certain group of women, but there's some women
Correct.
who are against it. Okay, there's some Christians who are against it. So basically, this is an issue that we need to understand and see how we're going to deal with this. And this thing of we're going to do it in a different way. No, we're going to have to do it in the way that the people want it. And right now, I don't see any people on the Democrat Party sitting down say, we need to make a study and find out where we went wrong, what happened here, why is Trump so popular, and why are we so unpopular? Why is Trump having followers and we have people who just don't trust Trump, but we don't have it? Why these 4 years, what are we going to do? You know, somebody came up with an idea, and it came from Puerto Rico. Telling the person
Okay.
who won the election down there by 5 percentage points, what they need to do is go on TikTok, Instagram, X, and every other social media that they can, Facebook and everything else. And every time that the light goes out in Puerto Rico because the electrical company is screwing up, make an issue out of it, put a picture of the government, say, she said she was going to fix it, and she didn't fix it. And this is the first time since she became governor. This is the second time since she became governor. This is the third
That's
time.
right.
And just hit the people and showing that the things that they promised have not been delivered. Doing some things differently. If you talk to some of the people who voted for Trump, they've seen things in social media that are complete lies.
Yeah.
But they're very well done. They're very well done, and things like that, and people buy them. As a matter of fact, right now, I'm going to give you an example. It happened to me last year. I had a missing package. I couldn't find it, it was driving me crazy, and so on.
Okay.
And basically, and this was the interesting thing, is that I get a text saying that it was the U.S. Postal Service saying that I did it. And if it wasn't because before I went on the site, I checked it out and it was told to me that it was fraud, I would have fallen for that because in that time I was desperate that I hadn't received my package. Right. So, there was a reality that I hadn't received my package, and there was a reality that I received this text at the same time. This is the reality of the world. People need to understand that we have a problem, and that problem is called distrust of government. That problem is called Fox News. That is called CNN, and people are going to their corners, and people. Hannity has a following. Ingrid has a following. They can lie, and people believe it to be true. If there was a comedian on the Comedy Channel on the thing that they do with the news, and he
yes, a parody of the news, The Onion or something like that.
Yeah, and he would go to the Trump people and say, "No, I saw that."
Oh,
and
yes.
Show it to me, and they will show it to them. And you have on TikTok, you have on Instagram, you have now that Musk is becoming conservative. It's on X and so on. So basically, people are seeing things that are being sent to them that are lies. Facebook, and everything else. So the Democrats are like, oh, well, we don't have to worry about that. We could just continue doing things the way we used to do it. No, 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 no. Look,
and lose.
you fight fire with fire. What you do is you put out videos and you put out things proving that that is a lie. And you send it to, and by the way, you buy the addresses of the Republicans and of the
Yes,
conservatives and of the Trump people, and you send it to them. They don't know any better. Oh, whoa, what's this? Okay. And that is where people do not tend to understand. Okay? They do not understand how things are being done in this country. And
that's true. That's true because you're right. No one understands what politics is. They just assume is voting, or you have someone in a faraway city making decisions for us, and we're not really engaged as Americans in the process. So
no,
not understanding how the sausage is made, and many people don't want to know how the sausage is made, unfortunately.
no. And unfortunately, not only do they do not want to know how it's made, they have no interest in knowing how it's made either. And those who may have an interest might get the information incorrectly. Uh, Look, one of the largest things on election day that was still being Googled is Biden still running for president. How many people go out and only vote for one or two races, and the rest of the races they don't? Down balloted in Orange County has been a problem for years. Not
Yes.
now, not in the last 7 or 8. No, I would say in the last 10 elections, which will go down to uh, 20 years. Okay, because we have elections every two
Hmm.
years. So yeah, but down balloting is absurd. And if you want to even go worse, one of the things that some people are thinking is going and saying to make life easy for everybody. There's a little box here that they're proposing in some states. Vote for all Republicans, vote for all Democrats, so you don't have to go down the ballot. That will be a scary thing, because if you ever put that there, people are going to be voting strictly for Republican. And
Well,
you know,
mhm.
and you know something, I that scares me. So, but it's a thought for that a lot of Republicans are trying to push.
Well, I know that the Democrats' strategy in the early voting and on election day was to hand out as many of their slate cards as possible. Just letting people know, just vote the Democrat, just vote the Democrat from Seminole down to Osceola and everything in between. Was it successful, in winning the elections? No, it wasn't. Not all of the elections that they were seeking, particularly in Seminole County. Also, one of the deficits that we've talked about, and it's even more. Two of them actually. It's even more relevant. Is one, establishing relationships with people like John Morgan. At the Gillum campaign, and holding on to $2 million, and not really showing anything for the 50,000 votes that Gillum fell short in that governor's race. Um, Gillum pissed off John Morgan, and that's when he left the Democratic Party. The Democrats need to rebuild that relationship and work on relationships with donors, particularly the big donors, like, someone, well, there's only one Elon Musk. However, there are, wealthy donors that Democrats have tapped into. However, again, Kamala Harris campaign may have ruined those relationships with the financial fiasco that they've had. And second, for the Democrats, and we're looking at this up and down, from the national to the state to the local. Reorganization. Just burn the damn thing down and start from fresh.
You know, that would be the ideal thing to do. I would agree with that. 3,000%. But the problem also is as follows.
Yes.
If you were a advisor, let's say you were the campaign manager for some congressional person here in the state of Florida,
Yes.
they, uh, and I know I'm throwing that with all presentation and you know where I'm coming from,
Yes, sir.
and the candidate slash congressman will say to you, uh, "Tell me, David, how much can we get from the Florida Democratic Party to help us in our election?" What would your answer be?
My answer would be this. We can expect very little from the Florida Democratic Party, from field staff to donations to networking and building out an organization. Much of what will need to be done will have to happen in-house within the campaign. That would be my answer. My honest to God answer.
And that is the answer that all candidates get from their campaign people if they hire somebody who is competent, not some friend. You're my neighbor. You're my friend. I like you. Be my campaign man. No, that one would not know different squat, because I remember once getting a call from a person who was running for House Representatives in Lake County, frustrated at the state party and would not help him at all because I didn't think they were electable, and they would charge that person for certain services that they could do for that person, but they would not help. Uh, that always concerned me,
Right.
and the fact is, if you are a campaign manager, you will, by all terms, have to realize that I am running a Congress race, I am running a House of Representative race, I am running a Senate race, I am running for any other statewide position. You are on your own. The state party is not going to send you a penny. The state party is going to try to sell you some products that they have, so they can make money, and that includes the system for you to find to contact with your voters. The what's that package that they sell with the voters list? The van. They will try to sell you the van because it's not free. The state party gives you nothing. State party will criticize you. State party will try to make you woke. As a matter of fact, I remember here in Orange County having fights with the state party because at the end of the day, there was about 4 or 5 candidates here who went into an Hispanic person who does yard signs, gave them, they all went forward and say, we each are going to order something like 3,000 each, give us a price. And the guy said, if you do it this way, I will charge you this much. And basically, he was not a union person. And the state party started criticizing because the yard signs were not prepared by a union shop. Uh, yeah, are you paying for them? No. Okay, then, you know, that is our state party.
Yes.
Okay, you want to send out a mailer that doesn't go through a state party and it was printed by somebody that is not a union printer, which the majority of the in this country are not. Okay, I think there's a handful in the state, and 2 of them I
Right.
wondered if they are, or they just pay so they can put the logo on there and get those contracts. But that's a story for another day. Those two and the other three are the only ones that you have. And the state party, well, you should use this, you should do that. Are you paying for my campaign? No, then shut up. You know,
Exactly. Democrats need to get out of that mold that, oh, we have to do it this way because it's been done this way forever. We have to go with the union, blah, 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 blah. And so, it's keeping Democrats behind. And
Yeah,
the same playbook is not working.
not at all. So, what do you want to talk about next week? Are you still going to be in South Carolina? Are you going to be back in Orlando or what?
I will be back in Orlando and I will be at my laptop ready for another episode. Um, well, we'll know what the local election results will be for the at least for the local Democratic Party. I think the Republicans have their meeting sometime later in the following week. But with President Trump and his picks, his nominees for the various offices. He's been in the news a lot, and I'm sure we'll have a lot to say about that also.
Well, I have a bold prediction for next week. By next
Okay.
week, DeSantis will be the Secretary of Defense. Trump's daughter-in-law will be the next senator for the state of Florida. Okay,
Wow.
those are Florida news. There's going to be a deal cut that Trump will appoint DeSantis as Secretary of Defense in exchange of him appointing his daughter-in-law as the next senator to replace Rubio.
Unbelievable. Wow. And Trump is leaning heavy on Florida to represent in his cabinet. So you know, I can see that happening. I can see that happening.
Yeah, and the person that from the sheriff from Hillsborough County that was appointed to be in charge of Homeland Security, who declined,
Yes.
he has some in his background.
Issues. Yes, he did. And he thought he is best to step down the gravity of the matter in the office itself. Uh, I heard this statement and he bowed out gracefully. So that's good.
Yeah, not a problem.
We'll see what happens with the nominee for Secretary of Defense if, in fact, Pete Hegseth decides to walk away. The last I heard, he said that he was not. So
Well,
the pressure's
but,
on.
but Trump can take him off and say, "I'm not him. Look, I'm putting in here DeSantis."
Indeed.
But
Wow.
one way or the other, next year we are going to have a Hispanic female governor.
It sure does appear like it will be history in the making.
Okay, so I will see you next week, and
Sounds good.
have a great time in South Carolina and enjoy yourself. And for all of you, see you next week. Subscribe, give us a like, comment, and if you don't even like what I say, tell me to my face. I don't care.
Thank you, Jimmy. We'll see you the next time.
Take care. Okay, bye.
You do.